How do you like your coffee? I like mine black owned. It's been a little rough for black owned coffee shops in Tulsa the past few years, but the city's latest Equality Indicators report shows the number of black owned businesses compared to other groups is increasing, a hopeful sign. Which is why this week I chop it up with Josh Jones, a former college football player turned entrepreneur and the owner of Jones Co. Coffee on America's Route 66. Josh, thank you for joining In Depth with Dion.
Sorry. Glad to be here. Excuse me.
Yes, yes. I mean, so much to unpack. I guess first of all, why coffee?
Uh, man, more so, I think a better question is why that opportunity. I think coffee is an opportunity in Tulsa. As you know, and I explained previous to this that my coffee shop has been a coffee shop going on 16 years. Previous to me, it was branded as 918 Coffee. It was a coffee
Mm-hmm.
shop in Tulsa that was a staple for a long time. It was actually my home. Coming out of college, I worked at the Enterprise right there at 11th and Lewis,
Mm.
maybe a block west of where we're at. Spent a lot of time in 918 Coffee, a lot. Actually, that was the only place to get something of quality before 7 a.m. That's when a lot of my shifts started.
Mm.
So I was in 918 Coffee as a customer. And little did I know I'd be owning it several years later. So, I mean, that more so than anything explains it that I saw an opportunity when that group decided to retire and
Mm.
the space became available. I saw opportunity on the street. You know, it was residents behind me, the historical Renaissance neighborhood. There's residentials in front of us with the Kendall Whittier district,
Mm-hmm.
the Pearl district. It wasn't necessarily a coffee desert, but there were no legitimate specialty coffee shops in that area. You'd have to go actually as far as downtown to Foolish Things to get a good cup of coffee.
Mm.
And I saw the opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity to come in here and kind of rebrand, provide a different offering, and that's exactly what we did. Long time coming. We finally gained some momentum, and it's been a good journey so far.
You know, I'm a little bit late to the journey because you formed Jones Co. Coffee in 2023.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So it's been a few years now. I just recently discovered y'all and I love it.
Thank you.
It's a great space to work. It's relaxing, it's refreshing. The AC's working in the summertime. Y'all have just so much culture and even like kind of the history of the community on the walls. You even have a kind of bookstore inside. Um, I used to go to some coffee shops on Black Wall Street, and there's just been a lack of black-owned coffee shops since some of those closed down. Um, I don't believe you're the only black-owned coffee shop in Tulsa.
No, no. There's another. Um, there is another. But the shops that you were mentioning are two mentors and friends of mine.
Mm.
Liquid Lounge, owned by Guy Troop, a mentor of mine who's been a mentor since 2018.
Mm.
Just through proximity, man. He's just if you know Guy, you know Guy and his wife Yvette. Like they are, man, they are true Tulsans. And I think Guy's story is so inspiring, man. Just a former ball player like myself.
Mm.
Uh, Him coming in Greenwood and setting up roots on a coffee shop was really foreign when he started. It was a great idea because it was looked at as a community hub,
Yeah.
and he was serving high quality products there. And Fulton Street, as you know, owned
Mhm.
former Fulton Street owned by Onika,
Mhm.
uh, good friend of mine, like has shared a lot of game with me,
Mm.
has really showed me, from a distance what to do. We lost both of those, and I don't think that should be. I don't think that should be,
Mm.
and that's part of the reason why I did open up Jones Co. was because there was a lack. Even if it is 3 or 4 shops in Tulsa, we still need more. You
Mm.
know, I think anytime you have a coffee shop, without wanting it, you have a place for people to meet.
Yeah.
So whether you do one or you don't, it becomes a community hub, uh, and that was definitely my intention.
Wow. I had no idea. Uh, I used to go to the Liquid Lounge for the Purple Rain drink, and then I'd walk on over to Fulton Street
Yeah,
for their sandwiches.
for sure.
And now I get to go to Jones Co Coffee for the mocha and the croissant.
Yeah,
But there's just that extra thing that, in my opinion, coffee shops like Jones Co, Liquid Lounge, Fulton possess that these other coffee shops don't, which is that cultural piece. For me, I've messed around, visited different coffee shops, like checking out different churches to see where my church family is, right? And there's plenty of places and spaces to congregate, to work, or to just vibe. But for me, there's safety in knowing that you don't have to that you can be yourself unapologetically, that you don't have to code switch, that you don't have to, you know, um, you don't have to put on anything.
no, not at all. I think that really starts at a young age. I'm a alum of Eisenhower International School. I speak Spanish,
Hmm.
and through that immersion program, kindergarten through fifth grade, and then carrying that on to a Tulsa Public School in Thoreau, who had a immersion program. You learn at a young age that you're black first, but
Hmm.
you it's not always easy to explain. You've participated in such a degree in an international program that you don't have a hard time relating to many because you're an outlier. You're a black kid that speaks Spanish in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, you immediately will get noticed. So I think that coupled with sport
Hmm.
helps to be yourself. You're not fearing anything. You've been successful in both arenas. And I think my customers see that, and I hope they do, because what I'm doing is creating a door for anybody, not just black people first. Anybody from the faculty at TU, from the athletes, not just football, but volleyball. My daughter plays volleyball. My son's a football player, soccer players, all these different languages that contribute to a cultural picture. Um, that's what I'm setting up at Jones, is a multi a multi dynamic space, and you get that when you come in there. It's just not blaring blackness. You kind of understand that this person has been a few places, and I just thank God for Eisenhower. I thank God for football being able to open a lot of doors for me to get familiar with how a space should look, and being multidimensional like that.
And I respect that. I walk in there and I see people, all different walks of life, all different kinds of people in there. Um, and so the way that you're able to maintain the intentionality of that, making it open for all without being afraid of your blackness,
Mhm.
I think is something that I hope more business owners, um, can adopt. Because sometimes I do feel like people feel like they have to choose.
Yeah, you don't, man. You just got to be good at what you do. And when you're
Mm.
so good at what you do at a level, like, those become sideshow conversations. It's nothing that I hide or shy away from. I'm gonna serve the individual the same way consistently. And I think when you make it about that servitude,
Mm.
about providing a fantastic experience in your own shoes, not trying to be nobody else, but really happy that the ball players is coming through my doors and actually choosing to sit down here. They don't even drink coffee, but they come in here because a football player, former ball player, is the owner.
Mm.
Man, that's super special to me. And then you go and you serving, the Helmer campaigns in the same breath. It helps a lot because it's like they not, they not coming there because of anything other than you being yourself. You
Mm.
opening a door and making it really, really inviting and disarming. Because that's a part of it. Being a black proprietor in the city, you got to know how to disarm.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, I think, or when you get better at it, it becomes easier just to be yourself. And those individuals accept you. They're not coming in there pretentious. Some are. You just got to know how to disarm.
That's fair. That's fair. Because, people have definitely criticized me as being someone who carries himself arming, not disarming. But I feel like that's, for non-business owners, for regular folks, um, defensive mechanisms just from, being black in America,
Gotta have.
but uh, I want to get into where it all started. So, where did you grow up? How did you get into football? And then how did that take you back to Tulsa?
Man, really quick. Gilcrease Hills, the neighborhood I grew up in. Um, Again, alum of Eisenhower, Thoreau, Edison. These are all Tulsa public schools. I take a lot of pride in telling anybody who's willing to listen. TPS produces good products, and I can give you a lot of examples across the city. TPS, it's bad stories in the news at times, but that can't be the overarching narrative of a public school, the largest public school system. Excuse me, huge budget. Like these can't be overarching narratives. We got so many success stories, more than I even know, and I know a lot. So that's where it started at, just being a product of the Bulldogs. Bulldogs Blue, coming up playing in the 4th grade under Coach Ross, 5th grade under Coach Pitts, and then going to Thoreau and just really falling in love with football at a young age. Like, I understood that football would provide a means for me to go to college. I knew very early on my mother was not going to be able to provide that for me. And so I understood that through sweat equity, you really can take yourself to get a degree, Josh. And it wasn't much thought after that. Like, get the degree. That's all they told us, right, Dion? Get that degree, man, and you good. It wasn't much explanation after that. And that's the bad part.
Yeah.
So that was the goal, man. It's just to come up, play ball, and really make your own way. I went to a high school in Edison Preparatory, Midtown Tulsa, and at the time that I went, man, in the 3 years that I did go and play football there, we won 4 games.
Okay.
4 games in 3 years.
Oh.
It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable just from a position standpoint. So I'm telling you all this to say that, like, it's really gotten out the mud. Like, there's no way you can play on a team that bad and be able to get scholarships. Like, no coaches come to those games to look. But, man, I was blessed enough to have NEO come through. A couple coaches from there heard word there was a decent football player on this team. And shout out to Coach Zach Allen, he's over at OSU right now. Zach Allen just convinced me to come and bet on myself. I remember that phone call. We were on 57th and Garrison, and he's on the phone with me. He said that phrase, and it just clicked with me, like, bet on yourself. And I'm sure it was it played in his hand well to kind of provoke a young kid like that. But I believed in it, and he told me, JUCO isn't pretty. Junior college isn't something that is glamorous at all. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. We were in a Dyer Hall in a 3-story building with nothing but young men, all here for the same purpose, all here for similar reasons. Either you didn't have the grades or you didn't have the looks, you didn't have the offers. For the most part, all of them were pretty much dogs. Like, there were very few individuals on that team that weren't dogs. And it's a eat or be eaten environment that really produces the fire in you. Man, did 2 years there and got a scholarship to go down and play at the Division I AA level for Houston Baptist, now Houston Christian. Played there 2 years, man, got my degree in English, and, man, bounced up out of there. I stayed in Houston for a couple months, but my wife was finishing her degree at OU, and I knew that, man, it's in our best interest to get back to Norman, and, man, thank God I did. Got to Norman, started working almost immediately, and what's the company that poaches kids right out of college? It's Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, man. Anybody, if you're an athlete, you can get a job there because they understand our thinking. Worked in Norman for a number of years, man, and me and my wife decided to move back to Tulsa, where we're from. Moved here, man, transferred within the company, and this leads me to my coffee. Working for Enterprise at 11th and Lewis. I bounced around the city a little bit, but working for Enterprise at 11th and Lewis was kind of, that was my last stop within that company. And just 1 block west is 918 Coffee, where I would get my coffee from. So I was in proximity of a business that I would eventually own and didn't even realize it. At that time, I didn't have like a crazy interest for coffee. No, I've never been like super connoisseur of coffee. Like I understood what good coffee was, but when we coming up, if it's coffee there, drink it. It's gonna give you an effect that you need.
Right.
And that was the extent of it. So I was never really just super hardcore into the notes. Obviously now it's within my best interest as a business owner to understand all of that. And we've done our due diligence. But, I didn't necessarily know that back then. And long story short, man, I was an entrepreneur first in the bakery trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that. Fast forward to 2020, or backtracking to 2020. The middle of COVID, I was a technical communications writer for Enterprise. I was able to kind of get out the field a little bit and work on the corporate level. And what we were doing was just devising RFPs, all kinds of things that I could use my degree for. I was working there, and I kind of understood that COVID was a little bit more than what was being explained. This was January 2020. January 2020, I'm like, man, this seems really intense. I kind of see that a place like this, there's going to be huge layoffs. We were in it was a corporate floor, just hundreds of employees. I just knew that if this thing really got to the degree that it did, I'm just a writer on this 6-7 person squad. I'm not at the senior level or anything like that.
You saw the writing on the wall.
Without even realizing, just a sentiment. I think that just comes from experience, early childhood on. Just being able to read rooms, sense things, have a level of prediction that is accurate. And sure enough, that did happen. Prior to that, I saw a ad as a logistician for the Mexican bakery of Tulsa, called Pancho Naya. Locations in Tulsa. Yeah. Man, shout out to that family, man.
Oh
That
yeah, I
family
love Pancho
really,
Naya.
Man, just a good family. Like when I think about good families, I'm thinking about the family that owns those businesses. And I saw an ad that they needed a logistician, but they needed somebody who could speak Spanish and English and be fluent in both. Man, I just reached out. Immediately and got an interview, was able to land the position and start working exactly for 1 year with them. Working as a logistician, supply chain, just really kind of whatever they needed on that side, but they needed somebody who could speak Spanish fluently, who could communicate and had a level of organization to them. And I met some real good people there, man. Solid. Like, man, it's one of those places that you don't forget. But that's what gave me my familiarity or exposure to the bakery side. That was huge for me, and I didn't even know it at the time because I'd be presented with with the opportunity to own a donut shop. This was March 2020. This is kind of when like COVID was full blast. They shut down everything. They're releasing regulations, stuff like that. And I was naive enough to continue on and take the opportunity. This was one where it was just really, it was cool. It was cool to me just to even have the thought at that age, and nothing else around me mattered but to be 26 years old and say, oh, you can start a donut shop and, have this thing go. Man, why not? What else matters? You have the resources for it. What does it look like? What's the deal look like? So really just some background in that. There was an individual who started a donut shop in Broken Arrow. COVID happened, and his age, he didn't really, I believe, he didn't really know how to navigate that, or he didn't see, that this would be a profitable venture, so he puts the shop up for sale. Quite around the same time I had the resources to go in and start it. So long story short, man, my mom told me reach out to this individual, just hear him out. And I know when my mom tells me to do something like that, just listen, just act on it. She's somebody who I follow my whole life. My hero, the only person I'll ever say that about. But a 10-year businesswoman who I know had the acumen to understand a good deal. Man, sat down with that individual, toured the shop, figured out what he was needing, what he was wanting. And long story short, in about a month, we got through a deal. So this was August 2020.
Man.
So I'm trying to keep my dates in order and not get you too far off track.
Putting in work, though.
Man, it was crazy at the time because I'm still working at the bakery. And at that time, as a 25-year-old, you don't really know how to navigate that. Like, you working for a bakery, and in my mind, I'm like, man, do I share this information with them? What if this deal doesn't go through? What if for some reason I'm denied? And I told them, now they looking at me funny. I just didn't know how to navigate that. So I kept everything pretty quiet until like the week of, and hollered at ownership, and they were really understanding about it, and they were supportive. And that's what surprised me. It was like, wow, this is a culture that's super supportive. That's crazy. Like they like, nah, go do that. You tripping. Go do that. And sure enough, man, September, that was August, September 2020, I had a team of 5 that were looking for me to lead. And donuts wasn't something I even had any experience in. I knew the bakery side of it. I knew, how to get products in, inventory. I knew how to break recipes and all of that down. But actually getting your hands in the dough, that was new to me. But man, I was so invigorated, and I just felt like, my legs are so young that it's nobody that's gonna beat me at this race.
So you just learned as you went.
Man, it was an old dude named Bill that showed me the game over like 3 nights. I woke up 11 p.m., met him at the shop at like 1, and he gave me 3 nights of just, hey, I'm gonna show you how to do this. This is the process, and then that's really it. And shout out to Bill Rigney, man. He may not even know it, but he showed me how to make donuts, and kind of from there, man, it's up to your creativity. How much work do you really want to put in? It's not a hard business. The lifestyle is hard. And that's really what it was. I just believed in myself, my youth, that I could do this on the sole fact that I'm young, and there's no excuse why I shouldn't be able to put the hours in. That, along with the team that was around me at the time, these individuals, side story, they didn't really know. Those 3 nights that I trained with Bill Rigney, they didn't know that I was their boss. They thought I was a guy coming in to learn, to work alongside them. They needed a fryer.
I see.
And that's the only way I could put it. I told the previous ownership, hey, let's do it this way. These individuals, one, need a level of trust with me. They didn't know I need to prove to them that I know what I'm doing. And on top of that, you just don't come in and say, hey, I'm leaving. This is your new owner. He's a black kid that's 26 years old. He's going to be owning this shop in Broken Arrow. Nobody on that team would have trusted me. They would have been, oh, okay, cool. But in a couple of days, they would have dipped, on the sole fact that they was like, he probably ain't going to be able to run the shop. He never did this before. Why would he? How's he going to provide a job to me? On top of all of that, pride, ego, things like that get involved. So we kind of play like undercover boss and allowed me to learn the game before I introduced myself to them, which helped a lot because I was able to see those individuals in their true colors. I was able to see a lot from a few employees that didn't know that they working alongside their future owner. And they revealed a lot to me in those times, and a few of them didn't stay.
Probably a little more than they wanted to reveal.
Facts. And that just shows you, man, people they operate with a level of understanding, and that's really how they operate. They had no idea that I was the one who had already bought this shop and who was going to be taking it to the next level. That shop was really new. It was less than like 6 months old. So it was in the really developmental stages, and any wrong move, it would have threw it off. But it was cool, man, to reveal to them, hey, I'm the owner. Y'all been working with me for a week, and this is why. I didn't know anything about it, and you all gave me all the information I need. And to me, that's just that was the best way to go about it, in my opinion. So, man, I own Tigers Den Donuts, and we ran that thing. Man, hard, difficult. You talking about some lonely nights. Employees not showing up to work. The job is on you now. Just, man, the night shift, working that graveyard is no joke. And I think that's what gives me the confidence to know that, coffee is never going to be something that's bigger than me, because there's not many people that can do what bakers do, standing 12 hours in one position. There's not just many people that can do that job. And it gives you a lot of confidence when you are able to do that and stack one brick on top of the other and just continue on it. So that kind of segues. I don't know if you want me to talk about the sale of it or not yet.
I mean, it just sounds like every step you took built confidence for that next step. And at each stage of the journey, even when you didn't know how to, to even push the dough and turn the dough into a sellable product, you trusted, you fell back on, well, I was able to accomplish this before, so I know I can accomplish this with the right mentors, the right training, nothing's gonna defeat me.
Man, that part
You know.
is really leaning on, man, what you done before. You know, I was a parent early on. I had my first kid at 20.
Mm.
My second kid at like 22. My third kid in my 30s, so she don't count. But I feel like, man, the things that me and my wife went through in such our early stage, of my high school sweetheart, like the things me and her have been through was just man, like nothing can really get between that.
Mm.
And she stayed so firm, bro. In like those 5 years, man, Khadijah stayed so firm. Like what made me so uncomfortable was my family sleeping alone at night while I was at the shop, like over all night. I wasn't going there at like 2 and 3 a.m. Like we was starting at 11 o'clock, getting it in all night, and I wouldn't see them until literally the next day, you know, sometimes 3, 4 in the afternoon, even later. And the way she just she showed up for me and gave me the ability to operate at such a speed, you know, the shop was hers as much as mine's, because without her flexibility, without her strength, without her knowing that, you know, I was really out there doing what I needed to do, a lesser woman would have thought I was cheating. Like she could have devised all kinds of things, but man, she trusted me. She trusted me, and that just comes from us, you know, seeing me do the work in our teenage years.
So her, you know, her trusting you helps keep you solid. Really, y'all trusting each other keep this ship running.
Man, bro, like, I mean, that's everything. It's really my wife. Like, she's given me 3 beautiful children, and kept herself. You know, not just like giving me, but actually like refined her own self, built herself up. Like the things she's able to do that I've seen, man, it's impressive. It's humble. It's no competition, but it motivates me in such a way as to there is no excuse, because she on the clock right now, just like you.
Mm.
You know, like she's making sure these kids is getting to school A1 condition. You know, like no lack nowhere. She's paying. She's actually submitting the bills. You are generating the income, but she's actually making sure the crib is cool.
Mm.
And I know what that takes. And bro, it's always hats off to my wife, because without her, I wouldn't been able to do it. I wouldn't have the time. I wouldn't have the ability. You know.
So let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
what's been more challenging for you, football or entrepreneurship?
Oh man, entrepreneurship, because football is fun now. Like when I train my son, you know, I'm working with the kids at Edison, like in the weight room. Like it's super rewarding to see the rawness in their eyes, to see the youth, the naiveness, the unsure things about themselves that I look back and I'm looking at them like, man, you're gonna be good. You all right. And I remember having those same feelings, that level of uncertainty that's always present playing ball, at least in the pursuit of a Division I scholarship, because that was always the goal.
I can only imagine.
Like you're just uncertain. You know, it's a really competitive environment. You're looking at other individuals and you immediately comparing. I don't know if kids still do that today, but back then, man, I was in Fight magazine, high school sports magazine, comparing. Oh man, they did this. Nah, I got to be in Tulsa World this weekend. A lot of my homeboys are from East Central. Man, East Central was a dog back in my day. I remember East Central hanging 75 on Edison, and me immediately comparing my situation to theirs. I think that's just that's what the game breeds when you really in pursuit, and you know that where I'm at, the teaching isn't there. So how do I get to what they got? You know, my boy Bam getting multiple offers out of high school, Cross getting multiple offers out of high school. It's like, how do I get that from where I'm at? I'm in this it's no instruction where I'm at. You know, you can't really get good. You don't got nobody really participating in your future. Very few. I don't want to say anybody, but very few. Just didn't have the resources where I went to school at back then. Edison is on the up now. It's crazy. They produce multiple Division I products. One just got drafted to the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chris McClellan. He'll claim Owasso. But I remember Chris practicing at Edison. I'm at OSU. Like there was development taking place there, but nonetheless, it just wasn't a desirable situation. So you really had to figure out how to get to where you wanted out of there. And I was never, you know, one to really just leave because the situation ain't right. Like that just wasn't me. That was
Mm.
disloyal in my opinion. So I waited it out. I took the stairs. Definitely went to NEO, man, and loved it there. And I think that's where a lot of that comes in, is just knowing that you've been in an environment as raw as Northeast Oklahoma A&M, and it gives you the confidence, man. Some of the mornings we had over there, people wasn't going through to play football. They would have quit. Like they would have just saw no point in it, no fruit.
Mm.
And some of the places we've been, the relationships I made back there, just give me all the confidence to continue. So definitely having that background in athletics, it's what we always fall back on. I don't know who doesn't use that as a former athlete. You have to use that because we spend so much time and effort in developing even the hoopers, like any athlete.
What do you mean, even the hoopers? Like, there's a little something there.
Nah, I'm thinking because man, they ain't working as hard as us, man.
I knew
They
it.
ain't working as hard as football players. Nah, it's all love because a lot of my guys, even the ones that come through the shop today, shout out Coach King, to you assistant over there, like Coach Conk, all of them, they man, you just see it. It's on them. It's in them and not on them. You know what I mean, Dion? They put the work in, and I think we all, to a degree, doesn't matter what age you are, you falling back on your experience in athletics when you're presented with a challenge on the outside. And I say the outside, whether that's your 9 to 5, your work, entrepreneurship, any line of work, politics, any line of work, you using that establishment, you're using that foundation to really propel you. It's a reference point, in my opinion.
So it's not necessarily that. I mean, of course, entrepreneurship you say is more challenging, but really, it's not an either or. It's more something that like fuels your kind of foundation that allows you to.
Very complimentary. Entrepreneurship comes with much more liability.
Fair. I mean, you get hurt. That's just you getting hurt. But if the business gets hurt,
man, the business gets hurt. Your employees, your customers, you got all kind of things to answer to. It's a higher level of liability. The risk is so much more tremendous. I mean, you can lose your life playing a game. You can have your life changed by playing a game too. But that's very few and far in between. People go out of business every day. You hear me? People's lives are changed from a decision they made at work all the time. So entrepreneurship definitely just comes with a level of liability that you just got to have ever present. You represent much more than yourself. Even on this pod right now, I'm thinking about my employees. I'm watching what I say because, man, maybe they don't want that business presented in that light. It's not up to them. But maybe they don't, want to be under that kind of representation. So just being careful and understanding that you got a reputation to maintain, I think that's what's helped me be successful, what's helped me convince customers to come into my doors and shop.
When you talk about reputation to maintain, that makes me think of a question that really we really don't dive into enough. And that is Black folks who seem to, not all, but those Black folks who seem to criticize Black-owned businesses for the slightest inconvenience, for the slightest failure, while they're still spending all their money at these major corporations.
Man, talk about that.
I don't even know what I'm asking. I guess I'm just like...
It's a conversation I think that needs to be had. And I want to give credit to our generation, our demographic, that I do believe is changing that. One thing I do appreciate about our age and our demographic is that we've learned to give second chances. And my parents, my mother, excuse me, and for on back, her mother, like, they going, really just her generation. Because after her, or before her, excuse me, those people were shopping with Black people and they was getting done right. There wasn't no question. But really, I would say like her generation, man, they have a way of, going to this thing called Facebook and blasting a business, and it's disappointing to see because it's unnecessary. A lot of these issues that you see present online, they are, they're ego-based, or maybe someone feels slighted. I'm generalizing, but the majority that I see can really be resolved by direct contact.
Mm.
I've had so many people contact me directly, and the issue squashed, or I recognize the wrong, and there's no ego on my side as the proprietor. And man, whatever that individual is wanting, it's so much quicker to respond to them. Now, don't give yourself away. Hold your ground on what you need to. Don't allow yourself to be disrespected or compromised. But if an individual feels as though they were wrong because of X, Y, Z, and it's within your power to make it right, man, it's so much quicker to get that out the door and continue on than to really harbor that conversation. I don't run into a lot of those because I think early on when I did cut my teeth and took my lumps was way in Broken Arrow. And it wasn't many of us coming out there to support that donut shop. Not because they were against it at all. It was plenty of them, I should say. I'm thinking of something in my mind right now. But obviously it's way out there. I was in the back. I was on county line, 71st and 193rd.
Mm.
Man, Josh, I love your donuts, but bro, I'm not
I ain't
driving
going
way
all
out
the way
there
out there. I'm
for a
sorry.
donut, you know? So
Let me know when you're on DoorDash.
right, that part. And many of them hit me up on that side. So it's like, I can't fault them because I don't go out there now. You know, like that was the outline position. So I say that to say, like, I was able to really get my sparring in there and learn customer relations at the most floor level, you know, and nobody saw that. Now the issue pops up at Jones, man, I think it's squashed almost in the same instance. Or I'm able to teach an employee and train an employee on how to mitigate any kind of potential loss. Like I'm able to transfer that information to them and they didn't have to go through the embarrassment that I went through. You know, I learned really quickly, like, man, you got to learn how to treat people right.
Yeah.
And you won't have these issues, you know.
And humility, like you said, when you know that you did do something wrong,
Yeah.
you know, or if like, you know, like you know, for journalism, I'll say the same thing. Like, you know, there's times where people reach out to me privately about an error or something that they feel like I should have included that I didn't, and the times that I used to get defensive immediately, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's your work, it's your baby, really. Every article I created, that's how I look at it.
Facts.
You know, and when I learned to swallow that and be open to the criticism, it only made me a better writer, a better listener.
That's so
And
much of it. The humility, bro.
yeah, and you get more trust that way.
You really do. You really do. When somebody sees that, yeah, they a proprietor, they a business owner, but they really just a Tulsan. That's I try to always see myself as I'm a Tulsan. Like I'm really from Tulsa. And I'm not saying that to sound cool or nothing, but it's like I'm really from Tulsa. And I take a lot of pride in that whether you from here or not, I'm gonna show you how Black Tulsans get down. I'm gonna show you how you supposed to be taken care of by a Tulsan. And it's really that it's human nature to respond critically. But when you get enough of those reps, like I said, I cut my teeth back there. When you get enough of those reps, you figure out how to handle that situation a little better each time. Like, ain't nobody behind me saying, hey, Josh, like, I don't come from a family of business ownership. My mom, you know, again, that's why she's my hero, but it ain't nobody saying, hey, this is how we handle this in this family business. Nobody's teaching us how to do that. It's actually coming in real time when these things are happening. And you figure out when you bump your head against that wall enough, oh man, we might want to approach it this way. And then you're able to put that in play and you see the success of it and you just learn that lesson. You know, it's nobody really, it's no blueprint to this, Neon. It's really just about having a heart, the humility, the ego is out the door, and really wanting to be great at what you do.
I got one more question for you.
Sir.
When you're thinking about that next generation, you know, the next Josh Jones, whether it be wanting to open a coffee shop, a donut shop, a gym, whatever, what's something that you know now about being an entrepreneur that you wish you knew on the first day you opened Jones Cold Coffee?
Man, that's a toughie. Trying to find one and not just go with the first initial. Man, take chances. Definitely, man. Take more chances.
Mm.
Like take take the chance. It's gonna be cool. I promise. As long as you showing up,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be all right. Like I would just encourage that. I'm a risk taker. I'm not a gambling man, but man, I'm a gambler. Like I will take the chance if I see the opportunity, if the potential makes sense. Not that it outweighs, but it makes sense to take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Take the risk. Take the risk. But also don't allow yourself to don't compromise yourself. You know, don't dumb down who you are to be able to communicate with individuals. Because I've had this happen. You know, I look at my company in two different segments. When we first started, I had a crew working for me that didn't necessarily resemble the values that I held internally. And because I had so much running on this business, I allowed that to fester
Mm.
because I didn't want to shake that room up. I didn't want to lose even the most slightest. We didn't have much momentum, if any, but I didn't want to disrupt that at all. So I took a lot, took so much, took more than I'll never, ever in my life again take what I took. But I was blessed with the crew now that really showed me, like, man, just be real with yourself. You know, Josh, be real with yourself. Take the risk, man. If you see, if what you see is not aligning with what you want, make the change. Cut your losses early, bro. Don't allow something like that to fester.
Mm.
Because although we was getting a good product, I can see now where I went wrong, you know. And that's just the realness of it. Some proprietors, they may not talk like this. Like they may have it all going on. Man, I'm a young guy in the game. I it don't I ain't got no problem telling somebody, hey, I made a mistake on this date and this is what I did wrong and this is how I corrected it.
Yeah.
Because man, I'm here still. Thank God.
Accountability.
You know, accountability. I think you learn that in the background of athletics. Like it ain't no thing to say, hey coach, I messed up XYZ. Man, coach, I got scared. I was supposed to meet that guy in the hole and I turned that contact down.
I mean, it's on the screen. Like you can't you can't hide from it.
You can't hide from it. Dion, I think that's really what it was. It's like you being in a room full of other individuals who are counting on you to make something happen. And we all seeing that you are not doing that. And it just makes accountability easy. My wife, having a long relationship like that, like, man, so many issues have arose, but understanding how to communicate, understanding how to regulate emotion, how to disarm, like these things only translate in my business and make me a better business owner, I believe. And I would just say that, bro, having that level, you said it right, having that level of accountability to yourself first, to your family, it only translates in your business. Being willing to spot your mistake, put your foot in the ground and go the other way and pivot,
Mm.
man, highly encouraged. 10 out of 10 recommended for every young guy or a woman that's in business. Like, man, when you know in your heart that you need a pivot, just do it. Don't even play yourself.
Mm. Man, that's a whole word. And I can relate, you know, even on the employee / independent side, you know, a year ago, you know, facing budget cuts, being laid off a year ago, August, you know, no plan, no warning. And I can go two routes. I can just lock into, you know, some 9 to 5, or I can take these risks. I can apply for these fellowships, these freelance opportunities that might lead to something, but they might not lead to something. And, you know, next month, I'll be speaking at a panel at the National Association of Black Journalists in Atlanta
I know that's right.
about freelancing. And so it's like what I thought was, you know, kind of the end of that journey was really building me, allowing me to accrue new skills, new experiences, and tougher skin to just step into the next phase of the journey.
Yo,
And so,
that's skin.
you know,
Bro,
and
congrats, bro. Pat yourself on the back.
no, I appreciate it. But, you know, a lot of it, accountability was a big piece too, because I had to really take a look at myself and be like, why did I allow myself to get into a situation where someone else's decision impacts my well-being that much?
That much.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't I plan? You know, and what skills do I need to build up more to really take what I want to do and make it sustainable?
Yeah, that's self-awareness.
You know,
That's
and
self-awareness.
that self-awareness and, you know, just the support that people in my community showed for me. I didn't want to take that. I didn't want to let that be in vain.
That part.
I wanted it to mean something, you
That
know?
part. Yeah.
And so I think we all have a fire in us.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different things that throughout life that uh force us to question, you know, force us to either fight or flight. And I think perspectives like yours help people to navigate the unknown.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to
Solid
reinvent
effort.
the wheel.
We don't, man. Say that. Say that a couple times a day, Dion.
We don't.
Say that. It's you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's an effort component. I think out of all of what you just said, you still knew, even when you were laid off, that you were talented. You know, you only felt that way about your constituents, about your work going in vain, because you knew the work that you put in and you knew what you did for them. You were talented. You understood this about yourself, that no matter what happens, I can still produce a solid piece.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to find a story within none. You know, you understood this about yourself and you was willing to put the work in. There's no formula to it other than just picking one up and putting it in front of the other. And nothing will happen until you take that action. And once you kind of see success, man, you gotta let it motivate you a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, at any level, you gotta let it motivate you.
Josh Jones, owner of Jones Cold Coffee.
Yeah.
This conversation has motivated me and I hope it motivates others. Thank you so much for joining In Depth with Dion.
Man, Dion, it's been a pleasure, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate
I look forward to the next.